Hilarie Burton Morgan has a picture of a cruise ship in Miami. It starred in hit shows like One Tree Hill and White Collar. Now she's back with the second season of her docuseries true crime story, It Couldn't Happen Here. Each episode highlights a case in small-town America, and in the clip you're about to see, she interviews a police chief in Missouri about a 1992 teen murder.
All these years later, what stands out to you about what you saw that night at the scene?
Right after I left and went down to the scene, someone walked into the sheriff's office, Mark Abbott. His report was there's a girl been shot, and I think she's dead. But later, this person comes back to the scene. He said, I'm the one that turned this in. I'm the one that went to the sheriff's office.
I'm not law enforcement, but that seems really strange.
Yeah.
That this person's shown up twice now.
Hilarie Burton Morgan joins us now, first on CBS Mornings. Hilarie, thank you very much for being here. You're really terrific in this. You've got such a great manner in your questioning. You go through challenging, emotional interviews. You have such poise. You're so gentle with people, but you get the information that's needed. And you're curious, which is the key thing. What inspired you to pursue this, in season 2 in the first place?
So I went to college with an eye at a job in the government. I grew up in Northern Virginia, and everybody's parents either work for the FBI or the Defense Department, and so I was like, I'm gonna catch bad guys when I grow up. And I got a job in this studio working at TRL 2 weeks after moving to New York City.
Oh, wow.
So it derailed my criminal justice career. And so when I moved to the small town that I live in now, there was a killing that happened down the street from my house where a young woman was being horrifically abused, and the way she was treated by our local media and by our local judge and a district attorney, it was horrifying. And I thought, this is happening all over the place, and we should examine these stories where in small towns, people don't have the resources, they don't have the advocacy to fight wrongful conviction.
I echo, Tony, what you just said about her manner, the way she handles people. On one episode, I think it was episode 4, the lady just said, who had lost her son, just thank you so much for caring. And I was struck by the way you interacted with her and what she said to you. How does law enforcement view you coming in? Because sometimes they're looking at you like, look, we got this, or are they embracing of you when you come to town? Because normally it's a problem if you're there.
It's a problem if you are second-guessing someone's professional decisions.
Yes.
That's a critique. And I work in an industry where after every take, they come up to you and they say, do better, try better. So I look at every industry that way. And with law enforcement, they're very resistant to taking a second look at things. But as we've moved forward in the series, what we're finding is more and more law enforcement willing to come forward and say, I saw a problem. I would love some help in addressing this problem, and it makes it so much easier on me if you're the big mouth, if you're the one that comes in and rings the bell. So we're getting really nice relationships.
Let me ask you, Hilarie, about one of the cases featured this season, which happens in Pritchard, Alabama. It involves the murder of a teenager in the LGBTQ+ community. You say that the conversation you had with the mother in that case really stuck with you.
She's the one, Vlad, who said, thank you for caring.
Thank you for
That's
caring.
The one I was,
that's right,
that's
right.
the one I was thinking about,
Tiffany Pugh is the mother of the victim, and she is my age. We grew up at the same time, had all the same cultural references.
What age is that, Hilarie?
We are in our early 40s.
Okay.
And
so is Tony.
Yeah, we had a lot in common, except that she had suffered this unimaginable tragedy. She's living in a small town. She has a child that's a member of the LGBTQIA+ community, was in the process of trying out a new identity and potentially transitioning. And she was so supportive of her child. And it didn't matter how much love the mother afforded their child, they were still met with this violence. And so I've established long-term relationships with a lot of the families that we work with. They're my Facebook friends. They comment on my kids' posts. I, comment on everything they're doing. And so honoring that they're so brave in coming forward, reliving these situations is important. I don't ever want to be a one and done interview because we have long-term work to do as a unit.
And Hilarie, you have another life because you're married to an actor. What his name is?
His name is Jeffrey D.
Yes,
Morgan.
he's fabulous. I remember him from Grey's Anatomy. He was so good. You all have 2 children.
We do.
So you have a whole nother life outside of this.
Yeah. I mean, I live in a small town. I hosted the spring fling for our public school dance on Friday. We had a charity fundraiser for our local community theater on Sunday that my kids participated in. So while I love small towns and I want to cherish them and celebrate them, I also want to address the hard stuff that
Yeah.
happens in small towns.
But when you walked into this building, because as you said, you were back in the day.
Back
on
in the
TV,
day.
Did you start twitching, tingling? What did you think? And
I
you're
started
on
thinking
Tree
about
Hill,
all the
too. What did you
trouble
think?
that we got in here. It's crazy the trajectory of starting in this place and then
Yes.
coming back with a show like this, because I am working with the very same producer that hired me on TRL.
Really?
Wow.
But I had to find a production company to do It Couldn't Happen Here with. And they said, do you remember Mike Powers? I'm like, Mike Powers called my mom and dad and asked if I could be a VJ. So now he's my partner in telling this story.
I think I saw some TRL graffiti on one of the pillars behind
It
the
wasn't
monitor.
me.
Was it
It
you?
wasn't me.
No?
No,
All
no,
right,
I'm
we're
well
still-
behaved.
That's an unsolved crime. We're still looking
Sure.
for the perpetrator.
Congrats, Hillary.
Yeah,
Thank
Hilarie
you very
Burton,
much.
thank you
You're
very
so
much.
good at this.
Appreciate it.
You are.
True crime story, It Couldn't Happen Here returns to Sundance TV, AMC Plus, and Sundance Now tomorrow.